So the last time you saw this transmitter, we were doing the case swap, and we only got so far. Today we're gonna do the back. I know your time is valuable, and I wasn't gonna put this video out, but I feel like the frustrations in this hobby need to be spotlit just as much as like the awesomeness of what it is, because not everything goes right. And in this video you're gonna see me re-attempt to install the backboard and to put my new rear painted case on this, and I get everything done. It's a fairly quick video, and fire it up, and I get an antenna fault again. So yeah, so I'm kind of showing you the end before the beginning and before the middle, but you know, I just want to forewarn you that what you're about to watch doesn't work out, and that sucks. So I'm also going to give you kind of like a little bit of the ending before the actual ending or the middle, because I'm that discouraged, and it's probably breaking a bunch of video rules. But again, I really feel like the failures in this hobby need to be spoke about just as much as the successes. And a little bit of a recap of what just happened. I 3D printed this part. I've got my replacement backboard from Aloft Hobbies, and I went ahead and soldered this on. I put the antenna on, and fired up the radio, and got an antenna fault. So I put back the original backboard on the original case, put it all back together, so I have a working radio because I can't be without one. And now here I am. Is it the backboard that's bad? Is it the pigtail that's bad? Or is it the antenna that's bad? Quite honestly, I think it's the antenna. But I'm going to go and do the next thing. I'm going to go ahead and buy a new antenna. I'm going to go ahead and buy a new pigtail. And I'm going to print another one of these because I like this. Sort of. With that, here is me attempting to put this back onto the Taranis again. So if you remember from my last video, and if not, I'll put the link right there. We got half of this done. I ran into trouble with the new backboard. I had ordered it 3 months prior from Aloft Hobbies, and when we installed it, it didn't work. So what I think had happened was they probably had a bad one and they packaged it up and forgot that it was a bad one and shipped it to me instead of probably back to FR Sky to repair it. So it didn't work. I was getting no sound from it, and I was also getting antenna faults immediately after hooking it up, and that's not right. So they mailed me another one. I've been sitting on this for probably a month now. Thank you, Aloft. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put this one in. I went ahead and 3D printed some new parts. These guys are for the antenna. The older one I didn't quite like. I mean, it sat flush with the top of the radio. This guy sits right in there, and I mean, I don't want to push it back in there because it was kind of a pain to get out. But anyway, yeah, as you can see. Thanks. But anyway, this one sat flush, and then what had happened is this guy would end up sitting here, and when you'd hook up this antenna, you would see a lot of this brass sticking out, and I didn't like that. So I printed up this one, and while I'm still not quite happy with it, it's a lot better. So let's start with this. All right, so for this one, we've already cut the antenna, and again, you can see that earlier video that I linked for the proper length and how to pre-tin these guys. So anyway, go ahead and take off the washer and the nut, and this guy goes right through the top here. Just like that. And then you want to kind of be careful when you do this, because you got to kind of pry it in place and you don't want to crack the 3D print. And that just sits like that. Now we can take our washer, put it over the top, and our nut, and put that over the top. And then crank it down. And then it's got this top that just kind of sits right on top of this. And that's it for that. So I'm gonna go and glue this top on, probably just right around the edge here. And that'll keep that from falling off. And I think this is gonna sit like this. So a couple things I don't like is this line. I just kind of wish it would sink down a little bit further and make that line disappear, but I guess that's it. And then this whole back is opened. It's gonna fix it a little bit once we put this on, but even still. So it's not the best, but what I do like is once you plop this antenna on, you don't see that brass anymore. So I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. The other 3D print I'm printing right now, and I might use, but you have to cut off this little UFO looking thing. And I'm not sure I want to do that either, because once that's gone, it's gone. There's no turning back. So I don't know. I don't know. This looks good, I guess. It sits really high. It sits really high. But I'm going to go and hot glue that in place to kind of keep it good. And like I said, I'm going to super glue this on. So let's do that. All right. So if any of you have used super glue before, you know that sometimes it just doesn't set right away. And that kind of sucks. So I got this stuff, and I'll show you what it is in a moment. Let me just glue this on. So what I'm gonna do is take this guy, and I'm gonna place some glue all the way around the edge here on the inside. And if you messed with super glue before, and I think this one's empty actually. Yeah. Yep. So what I'm going to be using to do this top is this stuff. This is a multi-pack of super glue. And the reason I like this is because it's a multi-pack. You get all these little glues, and by the time they get screwed up, you're already done with them. So this was probably one of the best super glue purchases I've ever made. But anyway, so we got to start with a brand new one now, because the other one is done. And pick yourself up some of this stuff. This is Bob Smith Industries BSI Instaset accelerator. This stuff freaking rocks. I just picked it up. I got it in the mail yesterday. I used it on a couple of things, and I am never not using this stuff again. This is it just, I don't know, it just makes stuff set so quickly that it makes this stuff work much easier. Now with super glue, yeah, sometimes it's instant, most of the time it's not. But where this stuff sets apart is you do one side with that, and I'm going to take this off camera and spray it. All I'm just going to do is just give a quick spray around it. So that's it. I got this stuff there, the super glue here. Make sure this is lined up. You've got about 8 seconds now. And that is it. Nice, fast, solid, done. Now we can take our rag and clean up the excess of the accelerator. So if you ever need to glue anything fast, this stuff works. The other nice thing too now is if I wanted to fill this gap, I can just take the super glue and run it around the gap and then spray it with this stuff, and it hardens right away and you get a nice clean edge. Very, very freaking nice. So but anyway, that's how to do that, and I'm kind of happy with that. So now where did I put my antenna? So now if I take the antenna, place this guy on here, that's fairly clean. Fairly clean. I could just barely see it in there. Not bad, not bad at all. So yeah, if you're going to be messing around with that stuff, instead of trying to hold this for 30 seconds a minute, don't even bother. Spray it with this, done. Just, you don't want to store this stuff together because they do bond instantly. So there's that. So just a quick apology for the wind noise today. It is brutal outside. Absolutely brutal. So that's why we're in here doing this. So next, I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and I'm going to just dab it around the edge here and pop this guy in place. This is a DeWalt Rapid Heat glue gun. I've had this thing for like 4 or 5 years. It works great. Within probably 30 seconds to a minute, this thing will spit hot glue. Right now, it's taking its sweet ass time. It's getting warm though. All right, so while I'm waiting for my Rapid Heat gun to heat up, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the battery from this. Okay, once you get the battery out, go ahead and take your module out if you have one. And this, I don't even need to pull out the antenna. All right, so the glue gun seems like it's ready to do its thing after taking its sweet time. So I'm just gonna run a bead of glue right around the base of this, just like that. And place this guy right in here. And it does seat somewhere right there. Sort of lock in place. Just like that. So as I was saying earlier with that super glue, is if you wanted to, you can like fill this with super glue, a little layer at a time, and then hit it with that accelerator and get it good, and then tape this off and then paint this, and it'll look like part of this controller, like it was meant to be. I am not going to do that, but this definitely firmed up gluing it the way I did, so I don't worry too much about that. So with that, I'm going to go and install the antenna. That's a fairly solid connection. Very good. So the next step is we're going to put the new backboard in this. And again, when I had started this project, I decided to buy a new backboard straight from the get-go. And the reason for that was because a lot of people had mentioned that the old backboard will just burn out for no reason. And I don't know why. And even if you're doing everything exactly the way you should, it will burn out for no reason. And that's what's happening to mine. I didn't touch it, and it's burning out for no reason. So that is strange to me, but it's totally a thing. So yeah, I know you guys warned me about it. All right, anyway, so let's open this guy up. This one is a new one, as you can see. It's from FR Sky. It's got the tape around it. The old one didn't have any of that. It was just in a purple bag and just taped up with regular tape. So it's become pretty clear that even wearing one of these doesn't seem to make a difference, but we're gonna wear one of these because it doesn't make a difference. Why are sensitive electronics being shipped in a normal bubble wrap thing? FR Sky. Okay. So here is the new backboard. So here's the new backboard. And this one actually looks new. No, this one is not new either. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. So what they did, if you can see, they didn't even seat this properly. They put a new board on here, and let's see, can you see that? Yeah, there you go. Look at that. It's on an angle. It's not even installed right. And you can tell, I mean, unless they tested it, but you can tell they had a antenna soldered on here. Yeah, so if you look right there, you can tell they had an antenna soldered on there. So I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. Is this a new board? Is this a used board? Did they just test it? I don't know. I don't know. All right, so we need this to seat inside of here. And the easiest way to do that is to grab like a screwdriver or something and just kind of pull this into position as you're Alright, so that's in place. Flip this guy over and install these screws. Just go finger tight with those. These should be almost flush. Very good. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is take apart the old radio. Actually, what we can do now is take our antenna and solder this in place. So this guy's going to go somewhat like that. So we've got the center pin and we've got the ground. We want the ground go there, and we want the center pin to go right there. I'm not going to use a micro iron for this. I feel like it's not going to give me enough heat quick enough, so I'm going to use the T15 ILS for this. This is a conical tip in the FM 2027, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to put just a couple quick new dabs of solder, because I can tell that the solder that's on here is old solder. Okay, so now that I got that, let's go ahead and take this guy. I'm going to try to do the little pin first so I know it's attached, and then I'm going to go with the larger pin. that. And then this larger pin. Ooh, getting hot. Okay, that should be on. So next step, I'm going to just put a dab of hot glue right here to keep this wire from moving anywhere. Just like that. All right, with that, I'm pulling this guy off because the annoyance level, as you can see, the annoyance level is high. All right, so that should be the backboard installed. Usually you can put a dab on there. I think I'm gonna skip that step. So let's get this guy taken apart. I'm gonna take this off so I don't scratch it. 6 screws. All right, remove the 6 screws from the back. Once that's set, you can pull these guys out. Just pull these down like that. And we don't need this half. Well, I'm fairly certain this board is fried. I'm still gonna take precautions while pulling these out. Okay, remove those. I haven't figured if I can get this LED out of here or not. Would have liked to take it, but I don't think it's gonna come out, so that's gonna stay. Alright, so we're removing these two and removing this guy, and we can transfer these right over to the new case. So this guy just pops right out, and this is plugged up because we don't use it any longer because I use the other style LiPo battery. That guy right in there. Now, if you run these 3D printed switch covers, eventually we're going to be replacing these switches because these things are tight on there. And we're either pulling on the switch or pushing on it. And we're going to end up breaking it. Unfortunately, these need to come off. Yeah, don't do that. So make sure the switch is in the back position and go take the nut off. You want to not lose, there's a black cover that this seats in right here. You want to not lose that. And we can transfer this directly into the new case. That. And this guy right like this. Okay, now I don't have a tightener for this, so screwdriver in it and just kind of rotate it. You want to go easy though, because we don't want to scratch our new paint job. Okay, so there's that one in place. Let's do the next one. Okay, finally I want to pull back these screws. Because this one's going bad, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to use all the screws. Okay, so now that we have that set, go ahead and grab your front piece. You want to pull these guys back, just like that, and then we're going to slide this underneath into position until it seats, and you can kind of feel when it bottoms out. Then go ahead and pinch it closed. Perfect. Okay, repeat for the other side. All right, so with that, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on. Now, make sure your shoulder switches are in place because they will fall out. I'm just going to cinch this back together like this. I'm going to put my battery in it and I'm going to see what this antenna is doing. The other thing you do not want to forget is your SD card. Go ahead and pull that out. And place that in the new board. Just like that. Okay. Plug the battery in and let's see what we've got. Are you kidding me? Still? After all that f***ing work, still defective? All right. So, I don't know if my antenna is bad or if my antenna wire is bad. Ugh. This is infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. So the only thing that I can guess is the antenna is bad, or the RG316. So I'm gonna have to hack a new one up. So this is just discouraging. I finally budgeted enough time to get this project done, and here we are again. It's not done. I guess these I'm just gonna have to leave off because I'm gonna ruin these switches otherwise. But anyway, so let's recap here. So the backboard that I purchased from Aloft Hobbies, I initially had the antenna issue and the speaker wasn't working. They took it back. They sent me a new one, or a new used one. And as you can see, you know, the board it's got a soldered on board that's been added to it. And clearly they tested it or something like that. But what I'm seeing is I'm getting a SWR reading of 81. That tells me I might as well have no antenna. So being that this is like the second backboard, and I'm gonna assume that they tested it, I can only assume that it's okay. Which leads me to believe it might be something wrong in the RG316, or the antenna itself is bad. So, I mean, it's hard for me to assume the antenna is bad. I would think the RG316 is bad. I mean, maybe it's possible that I spliced it wrong, and somehow, I mean, right now it looks like a mess because I just freaking demolished it, taking it off. But maybe I spliced it wrong. Maybe I heated it up too much internally and it grounded itself out. I don't know, but the course of action I'm going to take is I'm going to order a new set of RG316. I'm going to get a couple of them, and we're going to try that. I think I'm also just going to order some new antennas in hopes that we can get this going, because this is infuriating. I'm going to have to take this back apart, put my old case back together, and roll with it like that, because I can't be without a transmitter, and that is kind of what's happening otherwise if I don't put this back together. So yeah, there's that. I guess this is going into the not all videos can be epic, but it also boils down to I could just scrap this recording and show you guys something else, but I don't have the time to record a whole nother video today and just scrap this recording. So I appreciate you watching. If you've got any ideas as to what you would do in this situation, let me know in the comments below. This is discouraging. I mean, this is to the point where, like, I'm this close to just buying another radio and using the back of it. You know, I'm not going to do that. I'm too determined to get this project to work. I love the way this back came out. It's it's just unfortunate that the antenna can't be taken out, backboard and all, without destroying the radio. So that's the issue. That's the small issue. But anyway, so yeah, I'm not gonna subject you guys to what, basically rewatching what you just watched again. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. If you disliked it, go ahead and click that thumbs down button. I would appreciate it if you click the thumbs up button. Make my day a little bit better than it's going right now. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button, because you only get to do it once and it's fun. And I'll catch you later. Peace.